Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Commerce Biology. Today I am going to talk about amino acids and proteins. Well friends, the word protein is derived from the Greek word proteus, that means holding the first place, and proteins are diverse and abundant class of biomolecules that constitute 50% of the dry weight of the cells. Final product of information pathway. Proteins are the final product of information pathway that from DNA, RNA to proteins. So I hope you understand this one. Central dogma, the information pathway. This protein is virtually has central role in all aspects of cell structure and function. These are polymers of L-alpha amino acids. So these proteins are made from many amino acids molecules. They are joined together by peptide. So there are 300 amino acids in nature and only 20 are known as standard amino acids. Again, universal nature of the genetic code available for incorporation of only 20 amino acids means the genetic code is universal, and in the genetic code 20 amino acids are encoded. Again, 20 amino acids are commonly found in the proteins and are joined together by peptide bonds from carboxyl group to amino group. Now you can see the historical background. Please go yourself. And what are the biomedical importance of proteins? So some of the biomedical importance of proteins are the disease states, because due to the altered structure and function of the protein. So some of the biomedical importance are hemoglobinopathies, that is sickle cell anemia. So this is due to the mutation in beta 6 polypeptide, that 6 number of amino acid glutamine is replaced by valine. Because of this mutation, sickle cell anemia is caused. So if if only one amino acid is changed, then that may bring the difference in the normal structure of protein. Another is thalassemia. It is the insufficient production of either alpha or beta chain of hemoglobin. So this is also the disease that is caused due to altered structure of hemoglobin. So there are two types, alpha thalassemia and beta thalassemia. Again, there is Marfan syndrome. Single amino acid changes in an elastic connective tissue protein, fibrillin. So in fibrillin, there is a change in single amino acid, and because of this reason, the protein of the elastic connective tissue is abnormal. Now this one is cystic fibrosis. This is also caused by single amino acid deletion in the cystic fibrosis transmembrane regulatory protein. So this mainly affects the lung. Prion disease. So these are the diseases that is caused due to the alteration in secondary and tertiary structure of proteins. So these are all the diseases. You can go yourself. Okay. So what is amino acids now? So amino and acids. This means these are group of organic compounds containing two functional groups. This means two functional groups. What are the two functional groups? One is amino group and the one is carboxyl group. These are the two groups that you have to remember. So amino acids group. So this amino group is basic in nature and carboxyl group is acidic in. So amino acids provide the monomer unit to the series of long polypeptide chains of proteins. So amino acids are the monomers unit. Okay, they help in the formation of long polypeptide chain of proteins. Now amino acids and their derivatives participate in diverse cellular functions such as neurotransmitters. So Many neurotransmitters are formed from amino acids. They also help in synthesis of heme, purine, and pyrimidines, and also urea. So the important substances are formed by amino acids. So this one is very special. Not only this one, purine, pyrimidines, that are very important for us. Neurotransmitters helps to transfer informations in the synapse point and also in various parts. So in impulse transmission, neurotransmitters are very important. Purine, pyrimidines in the formation of genetic material. Okay. So what are the functions of amino acids? So amino acids, these are the components of peptides, protein, phospholipids. These are precursors. Okay. So keto acids, biogenic amines, glucose, nucleotides, M, keratin, neurotransmitters, glutamate, aspartate, glycine, transport molecules, that is NH2 group, amino group. So these are the various functions of amino acids because many important, they are the major components that are present in different biological molecules, different biological substances. So what is the general structure of amino acids here? You can see that it contains both amino group and carboxyl groups to the same carbon atom. So this is carboxyl group and this one is amino group. Okay, and this is generally structure and exists as ion. So it can exist as ion. You can see negative charge here and you can see positive charge here. So where is different from? Where R is different for each of the amino acids. So this R group can be, this R group is different for different amino acids. You have to remember this one. So amino acids mostly exist in ionized form in biological system. In our system, these amino acids mainly exist in ionized form. Now you can see that common to all amino acids, this one, COH group, hydrogen, and amino group. Okay, these three are same, and this is alpha carbon. So side chain is distinctive for each amino acid. It means there are different types of amino acids. Among them, 20 amino acids are standard amino acids, and this portion is same for all amino acids. The difference is due to this R group. Okay, so when you look at the structure, you can find the presence of amino group and carboxyl group attached with alpha carbon, with where there is the attachment of hydrogen. These are same, but this group, alkyl group, this group is different. The side chain is different. This forms the side chain. So each amino acid is assigned a 3-letter abbreviation and 1-letter symbol. So the abbreviation is assigned by 3 letters and 1-letter symbol. For example, glycine. So this is abbreviation and G means symbol. So alanine, Ala symbol A. Valine, VL and V symbol. Leucine, LEU, 3-letter abbreviation, V valine. So in this way, you can understand the abbreviation and the symbol that are used to denote different types of amino acids. Now classification of amino acids. So to classify amino acids, there are different methods. That depends on different base. Classification of amino acids is done on various ways. That is, they are on the basis of structure, on the basis of polarity, on the basis of nutritional requirement, on the basis of metabolic rate. Now, so this is the classification of acids. The amino acids are classified on base of structure. So with aliphatic side, glycine, alanine, valine, leucine, isoleucine, you can see the difference in aliphatic side chain. So you can see here there is the presence of part, okay, amino group and carboxyl group with hydrogen, and there is the presence of one hydrogen, but here you can see CH3, this part is same. So the blue portion indicates that all this portion is same for all amino acids, but there is the difference in aliphatic chain. Again, with side chains containing hydroxyl group. So hydroxyl group means there is the presence of OH. Okay, so they are serine, threonine, and tyrosine. These are the compounds. Again, with side chains containing sulfur atoms, they are cysteine, methionine. You can see SS, sulfur group here. This is sulfur. With side chains containing acidic group or their amides. So acidic groups or their amides. You can see aspartic acid, asparagine, glutamic acid, glutamine. Okay, there is the presence. So this portion is same amino group and carboxyl group, that is in ionized form. These are in ionized form, and you can see the presence of acidic group. Okay, presence of acidic group or their amides group. So amides, you can understand that. You can see this one. You can note this one. Okay, amide group. You can see amide group or acidic group. So with side chain containing basic group. So arginine, lysine, histidine. So you can see here the compound structure that contains basic groups. You can note this one. Again, containing aromatic ring, histidine, phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan. This is a aromatic ring. This is another one amino acid, proline. So this is the structure you can see here. Okay, so classification of amino acids based on polarity. On the basis of polarity, we can classify amino acids as non-polar amino acids. They are hydrophobic amino acids. Polar amino acids with no charge on R group. So polar amino acid with positive R group, polar amino acids with negative R group. Now on the basis of nutritional requirement, we can classify amino acids as shown below. Essential amino acids. So this is the very important for your examination. Very important. Okay, essential amino acids, they cannot be synthesized by the body and need to be supplied through the diet. So our body cannot produce these amino acids, so they are essential amino acids. So this includes 10 amino acids: arginine, valine, histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan. So this is the mnemonic by which you can find out, you can understand the name. So semi-essential amino acids mean arginine and histidine. These are semi-essential. Why? Because they can be synthesized by adult. We can synthesize this and not by the growing children. So growing children cannot make this amino acid, but we can make them. So they are semi-essential amino acids. So non-essential amino acids means body can synthesize the remaining 10 amino acids to sustain the biological demands. So those amino acids which are left, they are known as non-essential amino acids. So classifying amino acid based on metabolic fate. So on the basis of metabolic fate, we can classify amino acids as glycogenic amino acids. They are alanine, aspartate, glycine, methionine, serine, cysteine, asparagine, glutamine, proline, histidine, arginine, methionine, threonine, and valine. So ketogenic amino acid means leucine and glycine. So this is based on the biological chemical reactions or metabolic pathway they follow, by which these amino acids are classified. So this is glycogenic and ketogenic amino acids, means they can go in both metabolic pathway. They are isoleucine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, and tyrosine. Now, what are the properties of amino acids? Now we go there. So you can see the properties: solubility, melting points, taste, optical properties, ampholytic property. So this one is important one. Okay, ampholytic property. Due to the presence of both amino group and carboxyl group, they can donate or accept proton. So from this you will be asked questions related with this. So deuterionic property. It has optical isomerism of amino acids, means asymmetrical carbon atom. They accept glycine. All amino acids possess 4 distinct groups. They are RH, COO, NH2. These are the groups. Thus, all amino acids accept glycine has optical isomers. So, accept glycine all have optical isomer. They are the optical isomers. Remember this point. This one is important. Okay. Now we can see the structure here. So the structure of L and D amino acids are written based on the configuration of L and D glyceroldehyde as shown below. Look here. D means in right hand side, L means left hand side. The OH group is present like this. Okay, you have to understand this one. So here you can see this one is amino group. So where is the amino group? Linked with alpha carbon. Now ampholytic property, very important. Okay, please read this one. When an amino acid is dissolved in water, it exists in ionic form. Deuterion means 2 ions is a hybrid molecule containing equal number of positive and negative charge. You can see positive charge as well as negative charge. It thus bears 0 net charge. Here the net charge is 0. So what do you understand by deuterion, or why are amino acids deuterions? You may be asked questions like this, and this one is very important. Okay, a deuterion can act as either an acid proton donor or a base or proton acceptor. So it can act in both sides. Substances having this dual nature are called amphoteric and are often called ampholytes. So what is amphoteric? The term amphoteric, what are ampholytes? This will be asked in your examination. So I will say very important. Okay, this one. Now isoelectric point. What is isoelectric point? This is also very important. The pH at which molecules have an equal number of positive and negative charge and thus is electrically neutral. So this is the point. Isoelectric means they have equal number of positive and negative charge. So and thus is electrically neutral. So you can go through this formula. Okay. Now existence of amino acids are cations, anions and deuterions. So this is the diagram that will help you to explain about the deuterionic nature of amino acid. So this is neutral one because you can see both plus and minus charge, neutral form, and here you can see positive charge. Positive charge means cationic form, and you can only see negative charge, that is anionic form. Okay, I'll not going through this one. So what are the chemical properties? The chemical properties are due to the presence of 2 functional groups. Functional group means those groups which can take part in chemical reaction. Note this point. So carboxylic gel, COS and amino NH2 group. So reaction due to carboxyl group. Amino acids form salts with base and esters, with bases and esters with alcohols. So there is another reaction, decarbosylation. Amino acids undergo decarbosylation to form amines. Reaction with ammonia. So the carboxyl groups of dicarboxylic acid reacts with ammonia to form amide. Note this one. Okay. So reaction due to the presence of NH2 group. So amino group. The amino acid groups behave as base and combines with acids. Example HCl, hydrochloric acid, to form salt. Okay, acid base reaction. Reaction with ninhydrin, very important. This one you will be asked in exam. Please note this point. Okay, ninhydrin test you have done in your exam in practical also. The amino acid reacts with ninidine to form purple, blue or pink color complex that is known as Riemann purple. Ninidine reaction is effectively used for quantitative determination of amino acids. A common application of this test is the visualization of amino acids in paper chromatography. Proline and hydroxyproline give yellow color with ninidine. Note this one. So this is very important. So color reactions of amino acids, transamination and deamination, these are the reactions that is due to amino acids. So non-standard amino acids. Beside 20 standard amino acids present in protein structure, there are several other amino acids which are biologically important. These includes amino acid derivatives found in proteins, collagen, histone, cysteine. Non-protein amino acids perform specialized functions. They are ornithine, citrulline, keratinine, gamma aminobutyric acid. Another 3 D amino acids. So they are found in antibiotics, actinomycin D and valinomycin. So beside 20 standard amino acids present in protein, there are other several amino acids also which are biologically important, and these are non-standard amino acids. Peptides, polypeptides and proteins. You have to know about peptides. So peptides are the chains of amino acids. So chains of amino acids are known as peptides. 3 amino acids can be joined by two peptide bonds to form tripeptide. Similarly, amino acids can be linked to form tetra, pentrapeptides and so on. Okay, when few amino acids are joined this way, the structure is called oligopeptide. If many amino acids are joined by peptide bond, they are called polypeptides. So what is protein? Proteins are polypeptides that may have thousands of amino acid residues. So combination of many amino acids makes polypeptide, and again combination of these polypeptides makes protein. So look at the structure of protein. I have already told you that. Okay, structure of protein is rather complex and can be studied under four organization. They are primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure and quaternary structure. Very important. So donates the sequence of amino acids in polypeptide chain. It only donates the sequence of amino acids. Okay, it denotes the spatial regular arrangement of amino acids near to each other in linear sequence. Tertiary means denotes the 3D structure of functional protein. So this is a functional protein. Quaternary structure denotes the spatial arrangement of polypeptide chain subunits in same protein. So here, note the point. This is the spatial arrangement of polypeptide. Okay. So primary structure. Let us discuss this one. Largely responsible for function of protein. Majority of the genetic diseases are mainly due to abnormality in amino acid first degree structure. Primary structure determine the physical and chemical properties of proteins. Now you can see here many amino acids, they are joined together by peptide bond. So these are the different amino acids you can see here. Okay, you can see the bond over here, formation of bond. So there are different amino acids that are linked together by peptide bond. There is the presence of peptide bond. Okay, so this is known as primary structure. Amino acids are joined together covalently by peptide linkage, which is amide link between the carboxyl group of one amino acid and alpha amino group of other. The peptide bonds are not broken by high conditions like heat that denature protein. So here is amino acids, here is also an amino acid. These amino acids are joined together by, this is the peptide bond. Okay, you can see amide linkage between carboxylic group of one amino acid with amino group of another amino acids. So you can see there, this is the carboxyl group, this is the amino group, and there is the bond present between these two amino acids. So this, the name of this bond is peptide bond. Okay, so Burette test detects the peptide bond. So what are the characteristics of peptide bond now? Exists in resonating form, shows partial double bond character, shorter than normal CN bonds, no free rotation around the bond, rigid and planar, trans configuration uncharged but polar. So they are uncharged but polar. Now characteristics of peptide bond is denoted here. Okay, look at this one. So naming of the peptides. So the naming of amino acid suffixes in, glycine and tryptophanate, glutamate are charged to YL with exception of C-terminal amino acids. So glutamyl, lysine, valine, alanine. So this is the way by which peptide chains are written with free amino N-terminal residue at the left and free carboxylic end C-terminal residue at right. So amino acid sequence is read from N-terminal into C-terminal end. So we start to read from N-terminal. So amino acid terminal here is N-terminal. We have to read from this direction to this direction, carboxyl terminal, C-terminal. So 3-letter abbreviation linked by straight lines. Look here. This one is glutamine, alanine, lysine, glycine, tyrosine and alanine. You can see this. So lines are omitted for single letter. So if you have to write the single letter, there should not be any line. Okay. So secondary structure means spatial conformation of polypeptide chain by twisting and folding. Two types of secondary structure are mainly known. They are alpha helix and beta helix. Okay. So you can see as a spatial arrangement, spiral structure consists of tightly packed polypeptide backbone, core with amino acid side chains extending outward from central axis, stabilized by hydrogen bonding. So you can find hydrogen bonding here. So there is the presence of peptide bond as well as hydrogen bonding in this case. So each turn of alpha helix consists of 3.6 amino acids and travels a distance of 0.5 nanometer. So you can see the structure here. Okay, the alpha helix structure you can see here. You read from N-terminal. Okay, like this. So this is the structure of alpha helix structure. So here you can see hydrogen bond here. Okay, hydrogen bond from here to here, this part. So intra-chain hydrogen bond you can see here. You can also see hydrogen bond, but this type of hydrogen bond was not present in primary structure. In secondary structure you can see interaction chain between hydrogen bond. Okay, you can see hydrogen bond. For example, the keratinins are a family of closely related fibrous protein whose structure is nearly entirely alpha helix keratin. So beta acid, another form of secondary structure in which all of the peptide bonds are involved in hydrogen bonding. So all of the peptide bonds are engaged in hydrogen bonding in this case. Composed of 2 or more peptide chains or segments of polypeptide chains, beta acid can be arranged either in parallel or anti-parallel to each other. So you can see the structure here. Okay, hydrogen bonds between the chains. Look here. So where are the bonds? You can see many bonds. So hydrogen bonding patterns in anti-parallel beta acid and hydrogen bonding patterns in parallel sheet. So this is the hydrogen bonding between the parallel sheet, and these are anti-parallel. Bend or loop. So polypeptide chains can fold upon themselves, forming a bend or loop. Usually 4 amino acids are required to form the tone, like this. 4 amino acids. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 amino acid, 2 amino acid, 3 and 4. These amino acids. As hydrogen bonding the first and fourth amino acids in turn. Hydrogen bonding between first and fourth. So there is the hydrogen bonding between first and fourth. Look here. This is the first amino acid and this is the fourth amino acid. So bend is formed in this way. So tertiary structure, very important. Compact 3D arrangement of protein structure formed by bending, like this, bending and folding, and also folding. A compact structure with hydrophobic side chains held interior, very important. Hydrophobic, they are interior. side chains are interior and hydrophilic parts are on the surface of a protein. So because of this reason, proteins looks like a globular structure. Okay, and if these are the, so these are this structure which is outside, this is hydrophilic, and the structure which is inside, this is hydrophobic. Okay, so interaction between the amino acid side chain guide the folding of the polypeptide to form a compact structure. So there are many bonds. In primary structure we can find mainly peptide bond. In secondary structure we can find peptide bond as well as hydrogen bond. In tertiary structure we can find disulfide bond also, hydrogen bonds also, electrostatic bond as well as hydrophobic interaction. So we have many types of linkage, many types of bond that gives 3D structure to the protein molecule. So this tertiary structure is important. So what are the quaternary structures? So this is one polypeptide, this is another polypeptide, this is also another, this is also another. If all these polypeptides are joined together to form a structure, then that is known as quaternary structure. So many proteins contain a single polypeptide monomer, but some may consist of 2 or more polypeptide chains. So the arrangement of such subunit is known as quaternary structure protein, and the protein is said to be oligomeric protein. Subunits monomers can be identical or different. The protein is homopolymeric or heteropolymeric. Hetero means the monomers can be different in the heteropolymeric, and if monomers are same, this one term should be used, this term. So subunits are held together by non-covalent bonds, hydrogen bonds, hydrophobic bonds, and ionic bonds. Example, hemoglobin. In hemoglobin you can find 2 alpha polypeptide chain and you can find 2 beta polypeptides subunits. Okay, so you can find 2 alpha polypeptide and 2 beta polypeptide subunits. It means there are 1, 2 and 3, 4 polypeptide chains. If they are mixed together, look at 1, 2, 3, 4 having different colors, then this is quaternary structure. So denaturation of protein, the phenomenon of disorganization of native protein. So this is a normal protein. If we heat them, then their structure will be damaged, then this is known as denatured protein. So agents of denaturation are physical means heat, violent shaking, X-rays, UV radiations. Chemical agents means acid, alkalis, organic solvents, salts of heavy metals. This can bring changes. So features of denaturation: the native helical structure protein is lost, primary structure protein remains intact, losses its biological activities, insoluble in solvents, viscosity of denatured protein increases, very important, while its surface tension decreases. So these are more easily digested. It is usually irreversible. Look here, it is usually the term is usually irreversible. They cannot be crystallized. Increase in ionized groups due to loss of hydrogen and disulfide bonds. So classification of proteins now can be classified in several ways. Functional classification of proteins, classification based on chemical nature, or nutritional classification of proteins. So structural proteins, keratin of hairs, nails, collagen of bone. Catalytic proteins means enzymes. Transparent proteins means hemoglobin, lipoprotein, albumin, and transferrin. They are also in the transportation process. Hormones means insulin. Contractile proteins means they help in contraction and extraction of muscles. In movement we have, you know about actin and myosin. Okay, genetic proteins means nucleoproteins. Defense proteins means immunoglobulins, globular proteins, IgE, IgD, IgA. Okay, receptor proteins, receptor for hormones that are present in cell membrane. They arise from cell membrane. So classification based on chemical nature and solubility means simple proteins composed only of amino acid residues, globular proteins, albumin, globulin, histones, Fibrous proteins means collagen, elastin, keratin. Conjugated proteins means contains non-proteins moieties also. There is presence of other non-protein part, that is metalloproteins, chromoproteins, nucleoproteins. Beside amino acids, there is the presence of prosthetic group. Okay. So it's derived proteins, denatured or degraded products of simple and conjugated proteins. So coagulated proteins. Okay. Now, so nutritional classification of proteins. So classified into 3 categories. Complete proteins contains all essential 10 amino acids: milk, casein, egg, albumins. So partially complete proteins partially lack one or more of the essential amino acids. Example, wheat and rice proteins. They lack lysine and threonine. Incomplete proteins completely lack one or more essential amino acids, hence can't promote growth at all. They are gelatin. They lack tryptophan. So elemental composition of proteins, you can see carbon 50% to 55%, oxygen 19 to 20%, oxygen 19 to 20%, nitrogen 13 to 19%. This is the main thing that you have to understand here. This contains mainly hydrogen 6 to 7.3%, sulfur 0 to 4%. Other elements potassium, iron, copper, magnesium and zinc. So thank you very much. Classification of amino acids, classification of proteins. Most important one is ninhydrin test, burette test, that I will also discuss later on, deuterionic property, etc. Thank you very much.